Years ago, when I was doing psychic fears, the various practitioners had a particular skill, like reading cards or numbers, or reading rune stones, or reading whatever cards, tarot cards, regular cards, or numerology. And with these studies, don't forget these are studies. It's not just something you do. You pick up the cards and there you go. They spent years and years honing these skills. And then there was a time when they developed a special intuition that went along with the tool. The tool was used as a device to unlock some innate an ability they had inside themselves to give further information. And after a while, like you would read the cards became like a movie in your mind, and so did the numbers. They took on a life of their own. And these were like intuitive devices that were honed and skilled over a long period of time. Some people all their lives, and even astrologers would study the planets, and I knew astrologers eventually that would pick up an ephemeris, which was a book of the planets, and just by looking in the book and seeing where the planets were at, they were able to divine what was happening in somebody's life, to them and around them. And so did the cards, and so did the numbers. And today there seems to be a different philosophy or exposure with the public. It's more of mediumship, and mediumship I have the greatest respect for, because anybody that's into psychic is into the spirit world, and they have the highest regard and respect for that. But they're two different skills. One is talking to somebody's dead grandmother and connecting with them, and for someone else as an intermediate for the client, making them connect with their dead relative and maybe getting some message, which I really believe is extremely skillful and important. I don't want to demean it in any way. But it seems like some of them got to the point where the card readings or the numbers are beneath them, and not realizing that these are lifetime skills that somebody developed over a whole period of time. Some people did it for like 50 years. They would develop the number skills, the card skills. They would study the planets. Some of them were multi-talented. They would read names and numbers and cards and so forth. And these are abilities that were really developed when I was doing psychic fears in the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 90s. You would sit down with somebody and divine their whole life. It wasn't just talking to their grandmother or whatever. And believe me, I have the highest regard for this, talking to the grandmother or a spirit connection, because anybody into spirit and psychic has the greatest regard for that. But they're two different skills, and a lot of the people that do the mediumship, I don't know if they ever developed the skills of really divining somebody's life from the time they were born to the present and projecting the future. This was a skill of what I call the psychic readers, that were the mall readers and the people that studied, and they developed these skills. And I've even heard a psychic recently on YouTube, and I had the highest regard for her. She was a medium, a very talented psychic, say that cards weren't something that she needed. Well, I say that with the cards or the numbers or the astrology or the name analysis or the abracadabra, you get totally different information. You might not be directly connecting with spirit, but you're definitely getting information about the person's life that I believe otherwise you wouldn't get if you didn't have these skills developed to the degree that some people have. And I say that you need them both. They're two different skills, they're two different abilities, they're two different talents, and one doesn't take away from another, and one isn't less than another. They're both equal in their own ways.